This time on episode 331 of Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D., we discuss Iron Fist, Season 2, Episode 5, Heart of the Dragon, and Season 2, Episode 6, The Dragon Dies at Dawn, and weekly Marvel news.
I'm David S. Dawson from the Intellectual Podcast, a show that spotlights creatives from all walks of life, part of the Gonna Geek Network, just like the show you're checking out now. Shows on the network are individually owned, and opinions expressed may not reflect others. Find other incredibly geeky shows at GonnaGeekNetwork.com.
You have been granted clearance by Director Alfonso Mack Mackenzie. Stand by for a S.H.I.E.L.D. debriefing. All information to be discussed here is classified and may only be discussed among agents granted clearance by the S.H.I.E.L.D. Director.
Now it's time for your scheduled debriefing. I'm Director SP.
And I'm Agent Michelle.
Welcome to Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. We're a Marvel Comic Universe fan show. The show is recorded on Sunday, May 10th, 2020, live from the Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. studios and broadcast timeline-wide via www.geeks.live. Come and join our live chat as we record. Michelle, happy National Clean Up Your Room Day.
No, tell me what to do, man.
I'm not telling you what to do. It's National Day Calendar that's telling you what to do. It's saying it's time to clean up your room.
Fine. I'll go clean up my room.
Besides, it is Mother's Day, so maybe it coincided to be close to Mother's Day, and this year it just falls on Mother's Day so that kids can clean up the room for their moms today.
Yeah, I really wasn't that bad cleaning my room. Also, my mom was like, well, if it's a mess in there, you just suffer with it.
Yeah. There is a certain zen that goes with it, right? So a clean room, it's a lot better zen, and the messier it gets, the more bogged down you get and that sort of thing. So
yes,
I do need to clean up my room. So maybe we should get through the show so I could go clean up my room and have happy zen. Yes,
you can do the whole Marie Kondo thing, hold everything and see if it sparks joy.
Really? Okay. I might try that. I might need to clear some space. So in the morning and right before I go to the bed, I've been doing yoga. I've been doing I would say random, but I've actually picked them out, videos on YouTube for morning and evening yoga to stretch you out in the morning and relax at night before you go to bed, and as well as work on my general flexibility. And I've been doing it right outside this door in the great room because there's enough space in there, but I'm thinking, I don't have to come down in the morning and do yoga. I could do it in my bedroom, but in order to do that, I got to clear out a couple of things, and maybe I need to clean up my room. So I have 2 reasons to clean up my room.
Oh, okay. You go do that after we talk Iron Fist.
Do we have to?
Again, I'm going to state for the record, this is on you, Mr. Completionist. On you.
I will have to say, I will take the hit here. Anyway, we are going to continue on with the show so we can basically get these episodes over with. Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. is a fan-based podcast on the ABC television show Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Stay tuned. More news on that later in the show. The multiple Marvel small screen series like the Netflix Defender series and Iron Fist, and the Marvel cinematic and comic book universes in general.
Because of doing background checks before dates.
If you'd like to talk to us about minor background checks before dates, you can leave us a note on our webpage, legendsofshield.com.
You can leave us a voicemail, 844-THE-BUS-1. That's 844-843-2871.
You can leave us a message about your general dating routine and criteria on our Facebook page, which you can find at Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. Podcast.
You can find us on Twitter at Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D.
You can leave a comment about dating on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/GonnaGeek.
You can tell your Amazon device to enable Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. skill.
And remember, Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. is a proud member of the GonnaGeek.com network, which does not have a dating app associated with it.
No, it does not.
So, Michelle, we have 2 agents that haven't been with us for a while. One is Agent Lauren. and she found herself having to do work tonight.
Sigh.
The other one is Agent Haley, and she still has hardware issues, so I'm not sure if she's going to be able to join us before the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. season or not, but we will stand in there. Also, I want to say one last thing. We tried to have Waffles, which is Chris from another GonnaGeek.com podcast, play comics with us last week. We said we might try to have him on this week. Well, along the way, I actually had a 2-hour troubleshooting session with him last Wednesday. So we record on Sunday night. So about halfway through the week, Wednesday night, I had some time off. So I told him I'd troubleshoot with him. And it just looks like it's not going to work until he gets a new computer. Hardware limitations is the reason why he couldn't join us. But stay tuned to this week's Better Podcasting. I'll be going all over those technical details. So that'll be Better Podcasting episode 225. But Chris wanted to be here, and he did watch the episodes. And I have lots to say about what he had to say about them, which is basically what I believe both Michelle and I have to say about the episode. So we'll get to that in a second. So anything else to say before we jump into this?
You are still the master of promoting another podcast right in another podcast. You're still the master of doing that.
It's been a while since I've done this on this show, though.
Hey, you still got it.
I did. It was a 2-for-1, too. I got 2 shows in there. Yeah. Okay. Well, if you have nothing better to say than that, we'll get on with the show. Iron Fist Season 2 premiered on Netflix September 7th, 2018. We are under 2 years of when it first came out. The 2 episodes that we will be talking about today are Season 2, Episode 5, Heart of the Dragon, and Season 2, Episode 6, The Dragon Dies at Dawn. Michelle, why don't you take us through the creative team of The Heart of the Dragon?
This episode was directed by one of my favorites, Mairzee Almas, who has 33 directing credits starting in 2001, including 9 episodes of Smallville, 2 Being Human, 2 of Defiance, 1 Dark Matter, 2 episodes of Lucifer, 5 of The 100, 1 Iron Fist, 2 Outlander, 4 Legends of Tomorrow, 2 Jessica Jones, and 1 Batwoman. This episode was written by Declan Barra, has 8 writing credits starting in 2003, including 8 episodes of Funky Fables, 1 Cannibals, 10 Roy, 10 of the originals, 1 Iron Fist, and 1 episode of The Witcher.
When I was watching the credits at the beginning of this episode, I saw Mairzee Almas, and I was like, oh, it's going to be a great one. I love her directing, and you can tell by her resume, it's just been amazing. There was even a couple episodes of Defiance in there. I did Voices of Defiance. We've covered her before on Legends of Tomorrow, Jessica Jones. So she is very well known to both Michelle and I, and it was great seeing her name in the credits. It gave me joy, which is kind of a rare thing at this point in time in Iron Fist. But like I said, we'll get to that later. The Dragon Dies at Dawn was directed by Philip John, who has 36 directing credits, which started in 1987, including 2 episodes of Murphy's Law, 5 episodes of Sugar Rush, 11 episodes of Being Human. I'm assuming this is the American version of Being Human. 6 episodes, or I guess it could be British, 6 episodes of Downton Abbey, 4 episodes of Outlander, 1 episode of Stan Lee's Lucky Man, 1 episode of Iron Fist, which is this one, 1 episode of Cloak and Dagger, 1 episode of The Runaways. So we have covered Philip recently, and 12 episodes of Bang. This episode was written by Matthew White, who has 3 writing credits starting in 2016, including an episode of Marco Polo, 1 episode of Happy, and 1 episode of Iron Fist, but was the executive story editor on a total of 10 episodes. The Iron Fist Season 2 showrunner was Raven Metzner, and Iron Fist, the show, is based on the Marvel comic of the same name by Roy Thomas and Gil Kane. Do I dare say what I normally say at this point in time, is we often link the theme of the episode to the title of the episode, and the title of the first episode was Heart of the Dragon. Michelle, what's the theme of the episode? Do I dare it?
I would say it's Davos taking the Iron Fist from Danny and claiming to be a better Iron Fist than Danny. I guess, perhaps, having more of the heart of the dragon than Danny ever did.
And then the next episode was also dragon titled The Dragon Dies at Dawn. We didn't really have any of the main cast die. A lot of the triad did, but what do you think of this title as for the theme of the episode?
They try to capture Davos. Maybe the idea of the dragon dies. Davos is really the serpent. Dany isn't the Iron Fist, so doesn't have the dragon anymore. I guess maybe that's it, because you're right. No one really dies. It's more like in these two episodes, the concept of the Iron Fist is altered. The concept of the dragon dies. I think that's what they're going for. Perhaps. I don't know.
Your guess is as good as mine there. I don't know either. Perhaps if our co-hosts were here, they could enlighten us on what their takes of it are. So we both kind of focused in on a main theme right away of these two episodes. And I think you put it more eloquently than I did about Davos. So what's up with Davos? I mean, what is his underlying motivation right now?
The boy's got mama issues.
No, you don't say.
Man, parents. This is the thing about Davos. The writers really, they could have done Davos in a way that made him right. There's nothing better than having a villain or an antagonist who is right. We learned from the flashback that Davos's mother wanted him to be the Iron Fist. She was training him to be a champion. And we see that scene where we learn this mantra that he had to say, with practice comes mastery, with mastery comes knowledge, with knowledge comes strength, and his mother would hit him with the cane. We also learned that the Iron Fist must remain above all others, chaste, pure, without wife, family, or friends. That I did not know. I did not know that the Iron Fist was basically a Jedi with a magic fist. That's what that reminded me of. But we find out that Davos wants to make his mother proud. There was that scene where he was saying goodbye because he was going to retrieve Dany. Do you have anything to say? I might not come back. And she doesn't say anything. And he would kill his father. He has mama issues and he's a vegetarian that kills. That's Davos. That's all that he is now.
Well, he doesn't kill animals, but he kills humans.
Humans, right. He's a vegetarian who kills humans.
And I would say he's not pure. I would say, you were saying before that you have to remain chaste and pure. I don't think he's pure at all. And he's definitely not chaste. He had to not be chaste in order to get the bowl.
Yeah, the chaste part, let's leave that part. But being pure, I really thought this season was going to be that whole idea of what the Iron Fist is now, perhaps trying to find Shenlong or everything. It's now really just about these two boys fighting over who gets to have the magic fist. And here's the thing, Jessica Jones, we just did Jessica Jones season 2, where they were able to tell this personal story, but there were still larger ramifications because they were investigating IGH, but there was also another big threat to, New York. Like her mother was a threat, and what Trish was undergoing, that was a threat with her life. And then we had the outshoot, with like Jerry and stuff. It's frustrating because when Colleen and Misty would get interesting, it's like the writers and director would realize that, oh, they're more interesting. So now we need to diminish them. And Colleen's just become this whole, I got to take care of Dany right now. And her plot line has just been dumped right now because we have to focus on Danny and the little boy thing. And I did not like these 2 episodes.
It was tough to get through them. And that was part of what Chris was saying, is this just keeps on getting worse and worse. And he said the first time around, when this originally came out, he and his wife would watch all of these series. And he said he just couldn't. They got through episode 4 and that was it. They quit. I think they quit at a good time. He did watch, and both of them actually watched episode 5 and 6. And he said it was really bad. That's not the reason why he's not on the show this week. He actually wanted to talk about, he said it would be fun talking about how bad it was. But he's going to watch the rest of it since he's gone this far. And I don't know if I would have. If I wasn't podcasting, I don't know after episode 6 if I wouldn't have gone further. These episodes were very slow. There wasn't a lot of good pacing in them. There was a couple of great fights, which we'll talk about. But when you're talking about how Jessica Jones was versus this, yes, very much so. They tried to do that in this show of having more impact to the citywide, because it's Triad. It's a big war with the Triad, but it's just not coming off as something that's going to affect the entirety of the city. It's like it's just in like back rooms, and it's not citywide sort of thing. The whole city isn't cowering. I will say, without spoilering anything with Luke Cage, that Luke Cage was much more like Jessica Jones, where it was city affecting, or at least a portion of the city affecting, versus this, which only seems to be a handful of people. So it is frustrating because it could be, and it's just not making it yet. So was this the first one that was canceled?
I think so.
It's not surprising to me after getting this far into it. Now, I can't say anything about the final 4 episodes yet. We'll get there in the next couple of weeks, but so far I can kind of see it being the first one canceled, because even Jessica Jones and Luke Cage, which I both watched in season 2, they were fine in comparison to this. I wouldn't have canceled them over their storyline and their story arc and their story pacing. This one was just tough. They had a few things they had to get through, but and they were kind of interesting, but it took too long, in my opinion. So we'll get to those. Now, you brought up Misty and Colleen, and I just want to say that they were the redeeming value, even though Colleen's storyline was shelved. They were the redeeming value of these 2 episodes, because you could watch them and you could watch their adventures and think, okay, this is the show I want to see, because this was the most interesting part.
Yeah, I want to see Captain Misty and Detective Colleen, Daughters of the Dragon. That's the show I want. Give me that show. That scene where they go to the Crane sisters was the best part of both of these episodes.
Yeah, I will say, especially the fight and then the interrogation afterwards, where they came to terms and everything. Also, the biggest scene of the previous episode, episode 5, was the fight in Joy's loft between the 2 of them. Not really Joy, but I mean, she was there, but Mary Walker. So out of these 2 episodes, that was the big action that occurred. And it was less than 5 minutes of the whole thing, of the whole 2 hours.
And then you had the fight at the end with Walker, Danny, and Davos, which they try to get Davos. You don't know where Davos is. I'm sure Davos gets away.
And it really wasn't much of a fight either, because Danny was so broken.
True.
He took like 1 punch and he was down. And then Davos just mauled him with another punch when he was down and broke his leg. That was it. It was a good confrontation, and you knew Danny was stalling in order for Walker to come over and inject him and knock him out. And it eventually worked, but it worked after they both got the crap knocked out of them. So you could say it was kind of a big epic clash, but it wasn't a good fight. It wasn't a good battle. It was just, they actually had to meet together and go through this to establish the plot moving forward. It really wasn't a great fight, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, you had Davos offering to Danny, fight by my side, learn from me, and we can be a proper Iron Fist team together. Something like that. Obviously, that's off the table now.
Right. So a couple of things that I took from Colleen and Misty before we get too far away from that. Ward is described as being tall, dark, and arrogant. I love that description of Ward because it's all true, right? And then Ward called Misty's arm the Maserati arm, which was great. So now she's got a Maserati. It's her arm, but she's got one. And then also, Claire is not available. Usually when a superhero so far in the series gets beaten the crap out of, all of a sudden the night nurse comes, Claire comes and is taken care of. But she's not, we're not going to see her in Iron Fist. I'll just go that far. So it's very disheartening on that, not to see her in a spot that she should have been. And that hurt when I saw that and I saw what was going on. And they even mentioned Claire. It just hurt that she couldn't be there. And although if she was there, would it be too cliche at this point to have Claire show up every time one of these guys gets beaten to a pulp?
Well, that was part of her character. And it was always interesting how she was that unifying character, the one they would go to. I liked it.
I did too, but I didn't know. I mean, I like a lot of stuff that a lot of people don't like, so I didn't know if that was a bridge too far. It is called out in the second episode that Davos's fists are not yellow, they're red. I don't know the significance of that other than it's not yellow. And the tattoo that he has on his back is of a serpent. It's not of a dragon. So maybe it has something to do with that, or maybe it has something to do with the fact that he's not supposed to have the powers, or maybe it has something to do with the fact with he's just an evil person to begin with, and the power manifests differently. I don't know any of that. I just know that it's red, not yellow.
Yeah. I know that, there's that interesting conversation between Danny and Ward where Danny talks about when he would feel there was this connection that he had with the dragon, and opening up and feeling its raw power and its rage and almost losing himself in it. And then Ward also talking about comparing that with the anger and rage that he feels that made him go to, narcotics and such. They had that sort of conversation. But yeah, we do assume that's going to be yellow because it's the yellow outfit, the yellow mask and stuff. So we've assumed that it's supposed to be yellow.
We did find more about the transference. We found more about the fact that it had to be the skin of a dragon. We found out that there had to have been a certain tattoo, and we find out why the Crane sisters were. So we find all that out through the interview with the Crane sisters. Now they have to try to replicate it. And there was a timing aspect, which I'm not sure they're going to be able to find that out in specific determination before the transfer goes back. Because I just don't think that this series is going to end with Davos retaining the Iron Fist. I think we're going to see a transfer back to Danny Rand for the final 4 episodes, maybe the last episode or something like that. So I just can't believe that they would leave the series with Davos being the Iron Fist.
No, I don't think so. Either there's going to be no Iron Fist or Davos. Davos is definitely not going to be the Iron Fist. Whether it's Danny or somebody else, or there's no Iron Fist left, it's just not going to be Davos. Davos will be taken care of.
Another main character, which we have in the series so far, is Mary Walker. We find out the differences in the personalities, where Walker wants the cabin away from everything, and Mary actually doesn't want it. She doesn't want to be stuck there. I don't know if she's just more of a people person and needs to be around people more than Walker does. I'm not sure. But we find out more about the differences between the two. And I will have to say bad SP. I'm actually slapping my own hand. Bad SP, because I didn't realize that Mary Walker was played by Alice Eve, who played one of my favorite characters in Star Trek. In this particular case, it was the 2013 Star Trek Into Darkness, Dr. Carol Marcus. I didn't realize that was her. So bad SP.
I would actually say that it was good on the actor's part. I like it when you don't immediately know the actor. You're just taken in by their performance so much that you're into the story and you're into their performance. So don't beat yourself up. It's not bad, SP. It's just.
I do really like Alice Eve, and I really enjoyed her in Star Trek. It could have been the hair color, because Dr. Carol Marcus was more of a blonde.
Yeah.
So it just could have been that threw me off or whatever. I guess I'm not the most. I could be fooled by Clark Kent and the glasses. That's not Superman. That's Clark Kent. I would be fooled by that, apparently, if Alice can do that to me with hair color changes.
Probably me too. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to be all here like, oh, I could tell. No, probably not.
I think this is the first time that we've seen a superhero with an actual stocked med kit in their place.
Oh, it's a good med kit. I mean, we have Batman. Batman has his own cave and has whatever, but
I meant in the Defenders universe.
Oh, yes, because this is a lot more than a stapler, duct tape, and some cheap whiskey. This is an actual first aid kit with proper sanitation and gloves and proper stapling. Because there's a difference between a stapler that you use for paper and a stapler that you use for wounds. This actually had the proper stapler for wounds. It was just like this little mini urgent care box.
Although I do have a gripe. I actually have a big gripe. And if Lauren was here, she'd be griping left, right, and backwards. So I'll speak up a little bit for her. Of course, I'm not as knowledgeable about human physics or the human physique as she is. But Danny Rand was in with the Lost Kids, and he was literally coughing up blood. Like, he had internal bleeding and he's coughing up blood. This doctor, who's actually Ward's sponsor, known as Bethany, she comes in, she's an anesthesiologist, so yay, she's actually got some medical training. All she does is clean out the wound and staple it. She does nothing about the internal damage. Danny's still in trouble, and he's supposed to rest for 24 hours and he will be just fine to walk after that? Really?
No, he needs to be in a hospital.
Needs to be sedated in a hospital where he cannot move so that he doesn't disrupt his internal organs, which are fractured at this point.
Yeah, you can die quicker from internal bleeding a lot of times than just, like he had that small little cut on his, and that was bleeding, but it seems as though he might have been bleeding even more on the inside, and you'll die from that first. Oh, just take him to a hospital. Come on. You're rich enough to go in the back way. Come on. There's always that way to do the rich part. They're richer than Patsy Walker, so they wouldn't have been able to have done it. Let's just put it that way.
Oh, yeah. They're rich enough to do a lot of things. And even Mary Walker wanted, $500,000? And they kind of scoffed at it. I mean, even if you're rich, $500,000 is $500,000. But I'm like, you got the cash. It's no big deal. It's not like you don't have it and you can't obtain it. You can give this to her.
Oh, and remember how I was talking about white boy privilege in the first couple episodes with Danny? Boy, he turned that on in these 2 episodes. He went from being, I'm one of the people, I've been in this neighborhood, don't you know me from, working with Albert, I'm one of you, to just completely dropping that into, I could give you all this money. I could put you up forever. You wouldn't have to work forever. You wouldn't have to work at all. Just, I'll give you all this money. Just immediate switch into rich privilege. Let me give you all this money to make this go away.
Which I guess would have really worked if they would have understood the amount of money that they could actually get. It wasn't just food and shelter. They could have all been set up. They could have all had their own Maseratis and not be an arm. They could have literally had Maseratis and kind of blew it.
Exactly.
I do have something to say about the fights a little bit more. Jessica Henwick, who plays Kling, it looks like she does her own stunts, and she does them phenomenally. In the 2 fights that we saw, maybe that's why that's where the fights were, because they didn't have to do fight choreography with extras or whatever. Misty looked like Misty Knight was played by a stunt woman. Colleen, it looked like it was her. So my kudos to Jessica Henwick. Either she did the stunts or she did them good enough that the stunt person that came in afterwards, they were able to impose her face a little bit better and stuff like that. But it was great seeing her. I don't know her martial arts background, so I don't know what she's really capable or not. I don't know what kind of camera speed motion they played in any of this or whatever. I just want to tip my hat to Jessica for doing such a great job with the fight scenes.
It was, again, highlights of the episodes.
Which is why I brought it up again. Davos, there's a dangling thread in all this. Davos brought up the kids. He didn't ask to put them on the list. By the way, the guy driving them around the New York City with the one eye, I think that's the cop, the undercover cop.
No, the undercover cop is in the hospital. This is the guy Mrs. Yang stabbed.
Oh, okay.
That's who that is.
Gotcha. So he's driving them around, and then Davos brings up the point of, what's going on with the kids because they were following us. And he doesn't want to put them on the list yet, but that is not over with. These kids have been in the series for a reason, and it wasn't just to maybe not give Danny Rand back this episode. I think there's more to these kids, BB and the rest, as it goes forward. And Davos is going to inject himself. And as a matter of fact, Davos might start to hide around in their lair because he knows where it is and might bring some interesting things to the neighborhood going forward as hostages or something like that, because he'll find out that they're important to Danny and to Colleen.
I hope it's not hostages. Maybe disciples. Maybe he wants his own.
Could be.
And that guy is just having this list. And I mean, eventually he's going to run out of people. And then he's going to have to try to find out who criminals are outside of Chinatown. Because it seems as though Davos wants to kill all the ones on this guy's list. It doesn't matter who they are. It's just, I'm going to just kill all these people.
Well, I think Davos is going to kill this guy too, because he has no redeeming qualities other than he's been chauffeuring around and telling him where to go. So it makes it easier for him. I think this guy's dead anyway.
Oh, well, I don't know. Davos is kind of twisted. He offered Danny partnership. He offered Joy partnership. And he's offered this guy a partnership. This guy has taken us up on his offer. Maybe if he remains loyal. Again, Davos's logic is Davos's logic.
It's fair. Also, I don't really care about what happened in the episode. I really don't, because they didn't set it up well at all. But Joy, played by Jessica Stroup, she did an amazing job of just coming out and saying, yeah, I wanted to hurt you, Danny. And Ward, what were you thinking? That sort of thing. And there was the whole brother-sister thing back and forth that they had. I think Jessica's acting was really good. I just don't care about it because it's part of the story I really don't care about.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. They hurt you. You wanted to hurt them back. Now you hurt them back, and now you have nothing besides a guy who wants to kill you. Great job. Rich people.
Well, we only have 4 more episodes left of these rich people, and then we can move on to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. You have anything left to say about these 2 episodes that we haven't covered already?
No, let's go. Let's move on.
Okay. So next Sunday, we're going to be talking about Iron Fist Season 2, Episode 7, Morning of the Mindstorm, and Episode 2, Season 8, Citadel on the Edge of Vengeance. And that will be our penultimate Iron Fist episode ever.
Well, we have a bit of news, and that is about the Season 7 trailer about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And SP, you did an analysis of it.
I did. So I watched the trailer, which came out about a week ago. I think while we were recording, maybe slightly after we recorded the season 7 trailer. And I want to say final trailer, but the first season 7 true trailer came out. We had a teaser trailer that came out at the end of the previous season back in August of 2019. It is now May of 2020, and we have 17 days until the season 7 premiere of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is out there. And I just watched the 2 trailers. I was like, these look an awful lot alike. So for the first minute 19 of the trailer, it's basically the same. They're the scene where you see the Chromicons come in and steal the face. That's like the first minute and 19 seconds of both trailers. They're a minute and 35 long, about 90-second trailers. But for the next 16 seconds or so of the trailer, we get to see new footage with this trailer. There's some overlap footage, but we get to see new trailers. So we'll start with the overlay words. The overlay words of the old trailer were, "It's only a matter of time." So they changed that, those 3 play cards that were on the screen, to their final mission, change the past to rescue the future. Okay. I mean, nothing really news there, right?
Right.
Then they go into a series of clips. There are more clips in the new trailer than the old trailer, but they cover about the same amount of time. And I just believe that that's all the footage that they really had at the time that this teaser trailer came out in August. So they did a good job with the teaser trailer that they had, but there was almost no special effects with it. There were some, but there was almost no. So what did we get that was the same? You had Coulson in the chamber. You know, Coulson is now transformed. So you had Coulson in the chamber. You have Enoch running. I assume it's Enoch. It looks like Enoch. He's running towards a city which is disappearing right in front of him. You have guards next to a warhead on a rocket. That's the same in both trailers. Either that's a practical effect or they did a very early CGI on the tip of the rocket. You also have a picture of a Hydra, and I'm not sure if it's a ring or the tip of a pen. Maybe the back end of a pen. I'm not sure. It's one or the other, but it's a Hydra symbol. And they both trailers end with Zephyr 1 flying into the Empire State Building, which is under construction, which is, I believe, is how we left season 6, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So Zephyr 1 gets closer to the Empire State's Building, which is in construction. It's 1931. That hasn't changed. The year 1931 hasn't changed. In the old clips, which you don't get in the new trailer, you get Daisy, which I think it's a different scene, but it appears like she's watching Coulson in the chamber. So they string those back to back where it appears that Daisy is watching Coulson. I think it's a different scene. Then there is a back alley shooting followed by somebody falling into a pool. And the way the 2 scenes run, it's almost like it's the same scene, like they're shooting a guy in the back and the guy is going into the pool. It looks like the guy is being shot in a back alley, and then it looks like a guy is going into the pool of like a hotel or something like that, which is not in a back alley. So I don't know if those scenes are really meant to stream together or not. It doesn't really tell us anything. It's just, okay, this is 1931, you have gangsters, that sort of thing. You see in the original teaser trailer an actual depiction of a 1930s street. Now, this actually could have been something, I didn't analyze the cars that you can see parked on there, but the street in New York City in the 30s, it actually could have been in Agent Carter and they just pulled the footage for this. I don't know. But they showed that. And then they did have some CGI of a Titan IV looked like rocket. So it's a Titan rocket. It's got one main rocket and it's got 2 solid rocket boosters on the side. And it just looks like a Titan IV rocket while it's taking off from the lighthouse launching pad area. So we see that in the old one. You do not see it in the new trailer. Here are things that you see in the new trailer. You see a lot more of the actors, the actual main actors of the show. You see Mac and Simmons are the ones watching Coulson in the chamber. I keep on wanting to say trailer, but it's in the chamber. You see almost most of the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. cast. There's like 5 or 6 of them on a street and they're turning their heads. I guess to them it would be right to left. You see Coulson as a gangster with a Tommy gun shooting, and it looks like he's shooting a Chromicon. Not our Enoch, but another Chromicon. You see a super doing a force uppercut, and it looks like it should be Quake, but honestly, I couldn't look at the face good enough to see if it was actually Daisy Johnson. I couldn't tell. I think it's supposed to be her, but who knows? It could be somebody else. You see Yo-Yo and Deke inside a room, and Deke has a gun up, and Yo-Yo just kind of looks stunned a little bit. You see May tilting her head, so it was a nod to May, literally and figuratively. You do see, and I couldn't tell by watching the clip a couple of times, you see a force leap in the cargo bay of Zephyr 1 from one character to another, so some sort of battle is going on back there, but I don't know what's going on back there. You see Mac, Director Mac, he's got this just force stick, and I don't know what the force stick is, but think in terms of like a cattle prod, right? And it's got a light on the bottom. He jams it to the floor of, it looks like the cargo bay of Zephyr 1, and it has a force ring that goes out and blows out some maybe Chromicons. You see Yo-Yo and a couple other characters next to the big drive that's on Zephyr 1. And then you see Coulson and Daisy talking back and forth, and Coulson says, you got to save Hydra to save S.H.I.E.L.D., which, oh my gosh, we have to save Hydra. So that's in the new clip versus what we got before. So I brought you all up to speed. Are you okay with it?
Yeah.
Anything hit your fancy?
I really hope they do time travel a lot better than all the other time travel stuff I've been having to watch over the past year.
In all fairness, you knew this was coming for a year, so.
Yes, but all the other time travel stuff that came after, it's just, you know what I mean? It's just, again, but I'm looking forward to it because it's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and I'm sure they'll do it much better. And we get to see all of our favorite characters back. And even though they've brought back Coulson for the third time, I won't do anything about that, but yay.
I'm actually clutching my Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. security blanket right now.
Oh.
Which is
your box.
My box, yeah. Coulson's little box. I got the box.
I'm sorry. It's just he's come back for a third time. He can't stay dead.
Clark Gregg's face has come back 3 times, but this is not Coulson anymore. This is something different.
Okay. Sure.
They just wanted to keep the actor around.
I do too. I love Clark Gregg, but I think the show could work with Ming-Na and everyone. No, again, love Clark Gregg, but it still would have worked with him not back.
And just because I was watching these trailers on YouTube, I literally brought them up side by side and I was watching them. Just because of that, my YouTube suggestions came up with the actual season 1 Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. trailer, and Brett Dalton came up, Agent Ward came up, and I was like, it's Brett Dalton, that's great. And I remember this past year seeing him on Hallmark. He was in one of the True stories, and it was so weird seeing, he was so giddy and happy and goody two shoes and totally not Agent Ward.
But that's what actors do.
After playing such a bad guy on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., you got to have a goody two shoes role. If you want to stay versatile, I mean, if you want to play the bad guy for the rest of your life, that's fine. There's plenty of character actors that do that.
Exactly.
But I guess he wanted to go goody two shoes, so. All right. I'm looking forward to this. 17 days. And then we will record on the Thursday, May 28th. I don't know if we've announced that on this show yet or not. We're going to switch our recording days from Sundays to Thursday nights. So we will be recording the night after the episode airs. You ready for that?
Yes, actually.
May 28th will be our first night that we record. On Thursday, it'll be the first Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. episode, and it will be the second episode that we record that week because we will record Sundays up to that point, and we will go from the season finale, the series finale of Iron Fist, to the season 7 premiere of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And I'm sure that's going to be quite the yo-yo effect for me.
I know.
Unintended.
I know.
All right. Anything else important you'd like to say?
I'm just really glad the drought's almost over.
And then there will be a forever drought.
Okay, I wanted to end on a positive. Everybody who is listening, please note, Michelle wanted to end on the positive.
Through the magic of editing, it probably did.
Okay, all right, sure, cool. I'll live with that.
So with that, we are going to leave you on the floor and walk out into the rain on our way out. Thanks, everybody, for being with us as we continue our roll through the Defenders universe on Netflix as we prepare for the Season 7 finale of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. We are definitely glad that you are hanging out with us, and we will complete the Defenders after Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 7.
Yes, thank you for listening to our therapy sessions about Iron Fist. We really appreciate it.
All right, until next time, I'm Director SP.
And I'm Agent Michelle.
Got a few more series to use my coffee cup.
You could always use your coffee cup.
Yeah, but there's like themes on this show. This is Defenders.
Okay, keep just mentioning the ending of things.
But we get Disney Plus stuff. Yay!
Oh God, that's right.
Thank you for listening. If you want to leave us feedback, go to gonnageek.com and you will find all our contact information and other shows. You can also visit legendsofshield.com where you'll find our complete archive of podcasts. The music heard on this podcast is by Kevin MacLeod, found at incompetech.com, and also artists on pond5.com and audiojungle.net. The opinions heard on this podcast are those of the individual hosts and do not represent Stargate Pioneer Productions, Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D., or Gonna Geek. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is the property of the Disney Corporation, Marvel Studios, and ABC. No infringement is intended. Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. is copyright 2013 through 2020.